Howdy folks, AJ coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, and today's video is going to be about a couple different things. Number one, I wanted to talk a little bit about the role-playing game Pathfinder. I recently went to my second gaming session of the group that I joined for Pathfinder, and having a lot of fun with it. It's great to get back into the paper and pencil role-playing game genre and experience that again. I had been missing that for quite a while, and one of the things that I noticed, that I made note of, I should say, when we were playing this time was that it had been a long time since I had been in any type of a game, whether it was a paper and pencil or a video game or whatever, where there was a permadeath. And I know you almost never see it in video games. Permadeath, I can't even think of a title currently that has a permadeath system, but there might be one out there. You can feel free to enlighten me if I'm wrong. But there have been ones in the past where they've tried it and so forth. But it had even been a few years since I had seen a character, someone's character die off permanently, even in a paper and pencil role-playing game. And that happened this past weekend with my Pathfinder group. A lot of times with paper and pencil role-playing games, there's a certain amount of buffer, between when a character is knocked unconscious and then the character dies. And then, in addition to that, there's also, resurrection and that type of thing. And rings of 3 wishes and that kind of stuff to bring somebody back. But in this instance, we were in where we were at in the game. There was no possibility of resurrecting somebody or finding some way, getting them to a town to get, them resurrected there. There was just, without going into a lot of detail, it was physically impossible to do that. And this character was hit with, our DM is one of the most consistent rollers of dice that I have ever seen. He rolls high numbers almost, I would say about 85% of the time. On a 20-sided die, he's rolling, 85% of the time he's rolling, 15 or higher. I don't think I'm exaggerating either. It's kind of uncanny. And then on damage rolls, he hit, the guy that died got hit twice by a Cyclops. And on both rolls, it was 3 6-sided dice for damage. And on both of them, the DM rolled 17 out of 18 possible. And then, of course, there were some bonuses and so, and it just obliterated this character. So I hadn't seen a permadeath in a long time. So that was interesting. And for those of you that have never played paper and pencil role-playing games, you've only played video games, I suggest you try it at least once. And there's a unique feeling that happens when you lose a character that you've worked on for quite some time and so forth, and you've invested some time and everything, and then they're just dead. And in the old days, he didn't do it here, but in the old days, the DM would even make you, surrender over your character sheet. And sometimes the DM would tear it up right in front of you. Back in the hardcore days, so that you couldn't even if you had a second group you played with, you couldn't be sneaky and take that character and play with it on another group. No, unless you had a hidden copy or something. No, the DM in the old days would confiscate that sucker and sometimes even rip it up, just depended upon who you were playing with, So, anyway, I just thought that was a different story to share with you guys. And if you guys aren't, paper and pencil players, none of that probably made any sense to you. But to those that are, I'm sure that you could relate to it. So anyway, that was one thing. And then the other thing, real quickly, that I wanted to talk about was that I don't know about you, but I am having a very difficult time trying to juggle all of the really good quality television shows that are on right now, series that are on. And it's only going to get worse when Game of Thrones comes back. But, when you've got stuff like the Walking Dead, even S.H.I.E.L.D. has gotten much better. For those of you that didn't stick with it, the first few episodes were rough. It has progressively gotten better since the beginning of the season. I guess it's still the same season, I think. But it has progressively gotten better, and it's actually really good now. So there are just a lot of good shows on that I'm trying to stay on top of. I work full time, so I don't know how many of you work full time and try to keep a hobby of gaming, and then try to keep up on TV shows and current movies and books. But it's getting tougher because you only have so much time. You've got all these good games that are coming. The new edition of Thief came out. I haven't bought that. I'm not going to pay full price. It'll be on sale soon enough, and I'll get it on Steam on a sale. But there's a ton of games that I've bought at other Steam sales that I haven't even touched yet, because between trying to beta test for Elder Scrolls Online, doing beta testing for that. I was doing beta test in Hearthstone, and so I was doing those two, and then I was trying to stay current with EverQuest 2, and then all the different TV shows and all that stuff. And then I've been trying to do a certain amount of reading to keep up on that. So I don't know about you guys, but it gets tough trying to decide. Okay, what am I going to sacrifice? Am I just not going to have any gaming time and just try to catch up on some TV shows off the DVR? Am I going to do some reading? Try and get caught up on a couple of books that I'm behind on, and and maybe try and catch up on the TV shows and movies. And then of course you got new movies that you're trying to go see and so forth. So anyway, I've been finding it more and more difficult to try and keep up on everything. It'll get much easier whenever retirement comes, but who knows when that'll be. So in the meantime, I guess we'll just keep trying to plug along and try and keep up on everything. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget, you can catch me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Steam, all at Greyhawk 4x4. So until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the flip side.